Now we'll have the panel talk, the highlight of the evening. Could we have all the panel speakers? Thank you.
Okay, this is Kunho from Topology, and Chee from Nethermind, and BC from Dual Labs, and Brian from ZKLand. Okay, today we're gonna talk about your projects and obstacles to build on your projects on the Starknet. So, I'm gonna start with this question. Could you provide an overview of your project built on Starknet and its main objectives?
Hello. The objective of our project is to create realities on chain to help people. I guess it's a very amorphous idea, but help people reach their full potential on these realities. And we firmly believe that virtual realities need to have a foundational layer on chain because of a couple promises that it has. And the obstacles, right?
No, the question was just about
what it is. Yeah. So in order to get there, we do bunch of different experiments. So if you guys are interested in what we're working on, please go to our Twitter. It's topology_GG. You can follow the experiments that we're conducting. And yeah, happy to talk to anyone who's interested in what we're working on.
So I'm Chee. I work for Nethermind. And Nethermind, we do a couple of things for Starknet. For those who were in my talk before, you can see that we do 3 things: Horus, Juno, and Voyager. I'm mainly involved in the Voyager team. And what Voyager is an explorer on the Starknet block ecosystem. So it allows you to understand what's going on with your transaction and the contracts that are deployed. So in Voyager.online itself, you're able to then read and write any contracts that has been deployed. And it allows people to interact, read the state of your transactions, understand the blockchain better. We have analytics that allows you to also peek into some of the cool stuff like how many Cairo contracts has it deployed, just like I've shown before in my slides. And we do provide API service as well, so that dApp builders that want to rely on API can use API provided by Voyager. We have index data, so you don't have to rebuild your indexer. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, essentially. That's what I do at Nethermind. I work at a Voyager Explorer, and I hope to see everyone you using it and give feedbacks.
Hi, my name is BC from Dual Labs. We build ticket business on Starknet. You all have registered for this event on our website, which means we put all the info on Starknet. So it's kind of like we are trying to move on to ticket NFT later. So even though you don't have any wallets, you can redeem it later in the future, even though you don't have any wallet. Yep.
Hi everyone, Brian from ZKLand again. What ZKLand is building is a money market protocol on Starknet. We are currently live mainnet alpha on Starknet since middle of May. Essentially what we do is trying to do 2 things. One is we're doing lending for DeFi and also trying to do it for institution as well. So right now our DeFi side is released, and then hopefully by next year we will start to look into the institutional part of lending. What effectively we're trying to solve for, the problem sets that we're trying to solve, it's one, trying to improve liquidity provisions across the whole ecosystem, meaning right now we see that the retail capital and institutional capital, it's quite segregated, and also institutional capital, it's actually not very much onboarded. So I think these would be the 2 problem sets that we're trying to solve, and we're trying to enable an efficient way of doing it.
Okay, so what motivates you to choose Starknet as the underlying technology for your projects? I think this is quite good question because awareness of Starknet is quite narrow especially in Asia, in my personal opinion. So, like, can you share why did you choose Starknet? Kunho, can you? Like everyone, like I thought you guys are panel, like.
I have things to say, but
Yeah, I'll go first. When we were experimenting things, I think Gigi and I were not interested in so much into DeFi because that's when we started looking into what can be possible on chain, and I think the scaling solutions that was available. I think we were banking on ZK rollup, and the only operational ZK rollup back then was Starknet. So we didn't really have a choice. So I think in retrospect, I mean, the more we get to know Starknet, it just makes more sense to work on Starknet. But now I think there are a lot of ZKVM and ZK EVM solutions that are up and coming. So I think this question is more relevant now. But just to answer the question, how did we actually get to choose Starknet, is because that was the only thing available back then.
I mean, to be fair, right now, like even for other ZK VMs, I don't think you can build Shoshin in Solidity. I can't imagine that happening, right? Yeah. So for me, I mean, Voyager, Nethermind has always been a partner of Starknet, so nothing special on Nethermind. But personally, how I got into Starknet is because I found out Cairo, interesting through a job interview. So I was applying for a job and this Cairo dev. I do not know what on earth is that. And then I would read out and I'm like, oh, wow, this is real cool. And I've heard of ZK rollups. There was more the optimistic rollup kind of era. And as this ZK rollups or Verity rollups, as people call it now, is popping up and Starknet is doing it. Like, oh wow, this is really cool. And I tried to read the white paper. It was beyond me. And I tried to read the Cairo Zero doc at that time. So it was like 1.5 years ago. It was so bad. I couldn't understand what on earth is Cairo. I couldn't understand what's the point of having of learning Cairo. And I gave up after like 1 month. And then I was in Dev Connect last year in Amsterdam, and they have this Cairo bootcamp. I'm like, okay, I'll give it another try. Of course, along the way, I tried to read more about ZK rollups. I know a bit more than I was back then. And I attended the bootcamp. I said, okay, Cairo 0 is hard. It's definitely hard after the bootcamp. But then the dev in me got the better of me. I was like, okay, it's hard, and it's fun. So what I want to do is that I came back to Malaysia. I want to spread awareness of Cairo and Starknet. And then we start a community. And I think that's where I got hooked, because it's hard, it's fun. I don't know, it's just fun. So I know it's a bit weird, but it being hard gets me into the space, and then me getting the space influence more people to get into the space, and more people get into space, and more people, and you influence even more. So this would be like a kind of like an avalanche effect, if you get what I mean. So that's my story. What's yours?
To be honest, early 2021. I met Guilty Gyoza with KK, and he told me about how good is Starknet, but I didn't understand back then. But now I'm starting to understand why Guilty Gyoza said about that, and I don't regret choosing this network until now. Yeah.
Well, three reasons. One is when we start, we have Starknet and we have CK Sync. Two, John is in the same train as Chee, so he is a CTO. So he is definitely hardcore Cairo 0 developers, and he started really early. So we got dragged in. Three, commercial. It's a little bit more commercial reasons, because of the two, CK Sync and also Starknet, we see that Ellie and Yuri, they have StartX to begin with. Their execution ability is spot on. They have track record. They have Zcash as their brilliant track record already. And for us, seeing that actually gives us a lot of confidence on the business side. And then because we see a lot of technology that becomes really cool, but they don't have a real use cases to get applications on. But we see that they actually have a plan for it. So I think all three is kind of the motivation how we kind of grew together, and then we chose Starknet at the time.
So I think there are some challenges to build on the Starknet, right? You shared the 3 reasons why did you choose Starknet, but I also wonder which challenges did you encounter and how did you solve that challenges?
Yeah, let me start first on this one. I would say I won't talk about all the reasons, but I'll start with a little one. I think back then, even just switching from Caro 0 to Caro 1 code, there were a lot of uncertainty. And for us as a team, we actually start really early building the project. We start late 2021, and we start building early part of last year. And when the news comes about this transition over to from Caro 0 to Caro 1, there was no real roadmap as to how it's being done. And I think the community is still talking about how the regenesis is going to actually take place. And for us, there was actually a point of time where we're thinking whether we should actually pause our development a little bit and then just wait for it to get over with the entire regenesis, and then we come back. But at the time, I think the community was, and also the management team was really supportive, so they actually hear our feedback and try to work with us on how the regenesis could work for everyone. So we have the transition period right now. But I think uncertainty in terms of how we match with their development timeline is something that we have to deal with as a protocol developer.
Let me add on a bit on that Caro 1 thing. So I think it was on integration. So for those who are not familiar, integration is the pre-testnet of the Golly testnet. And funny enough, at that one point of time, no one knows how to deploy a Caro contract. It wasn't clear. So we can compile, but we don't know how on earth to deploy. Because we have a shared channel with John. I think I can't remember the channel name with Starknet and John was asking the same question. So I read through okay, it turns out that there's only one guy probably in Starknet is able to deploy at that point of time. I think all of us gave up, including I think John was trying to write some Rust library on that, and I think he said he figured out. I didn't, so I just whatever. So deploying Caro 1 at that time was really, really hard, and like you said, we don't know if we can deploy, we can test. And there was actually a builder council, where a council I think 15 of people, and I was one of them. And we have a voting to should this go to mainnet or should it go to Golly? And there were 2 people who voted no. I'm one of them. Another one was Martin for Open Zeppelin, because it's just so unstable. We don't know how on earth how should we proceed. But other people are just I refrain from voting. Oh yes, I said yes because I want things to move faster, which I disagree. So it was so hard at that point of time. But prior to that, the developing of Caro has a very notorious history of it changing so fast. You using this version, and then 1 week later you try to compile with the new. You try to then use the new version. I mean, you try to compile again, it fails because all the libraries are not updated. But the Caro 0 on Starknet has been upgraded, and you're missing some signature thing kind of thing, which is so annoying. So that was definitely very, very hard. It's so painful, right? So I guess we all know how it is.
We hosted the Stark Tokyo in April 15th. And day after the 15th, 16th, we made another event, which is Starknet Workshop. And Orizi from Starkware told me that, we just added the loop in Caro. So is that mean today's Caro and yesterday's Caro is different? And Ori said, yes. We added loop, so okay. yeah, I remember that.
And at a point of time, Voyager broke down as well because there was an update that we missed. It was, and the entire workshop couldn't use Voyager. That was a huge shame. Our boss wasn't happy.
How about you, Kunho?
I think the biggest difficult part for us is finding the right people, or even just having the people who actually knows, let alone Starknet or Caro. I think that's the biggest difficulties that we have, and also convincing people why it's important to build on, I don't know, ZK rollup or any kind of recursive rollup that you can think about. I think the fact that we have to convince people and persuade people on those parts. I think that's the biggest cost right now if you're working on Starknet. I think it'll be quite similar to early days of Ethereum. If you talk to anyone in the early days of Ethereum, and let's say you're building something on top of Ethereum, then your first step is like to introduce people what exactly Ethereum is and why they need to learn Solidity and what exactly does it mean to build something on top of Ethereum. I think those are the biggest hurdle that we probably all have to go through. Yeah.
As a company who runs the ticket business, the main obstacle is the TPS. Like, for example, like if you go to a BTS concert, you scan the ticket and you don't say like, we're here for a minute, right? So we decided to put it on Web 2 first, and we upload it at the end on Starknet, like at once. So once the TPS is ready for the BTS concert, we are trying to directly putting the info on the Starknet. Yeah.
Also, can we make a BTS concert ticket project?
Since it's recorded, I cannot say yes, but I will try my best.
After 0.12.0, right? We were promised by Starknet it will get much better. So we'll see.
I heard that. So, what are your future plans and roadmaps for further development and expansion of your projects on Starknet?
I think our motto is tinkering and experimenting. I think that will probably continue until we realize the realities that can be reside on chain immutably and perpetually. I think that will probably take at least honest and conservative, or most optimistic, I guess, not conservative, or most optimistic projection would be at least 2 decades or 3 decades. So I think we will try to do lots of different experiments that we think is fit for the horizon of the machine that we're dealing with, ZK rollup, Starknet, or Ethereum in itself, and how this world computer adapts and changes. I think that will be instrumental to our projections. But I think our long-term vision is it's the same. Yeah.
So on the Voyager end, Voyager will always keep improving and following the latest updates of Starknet. We got better in the last 6 months, and we'll definitely get better the next 6 months, and so on and so forth. That's on the Voyager front, so you can have my word that we always get better. On a personal front, what do I do on Cairo? So recently I fell into this ZKML rabbit hole after IFSO, because there was a hackathon that we built with something to do with ZKML. And what I really want to explore, I haven't started exploring, is to start writing a bit of ZKML kind of stuff on Cairo. So now I have made it in recorder, so I have to do it now. So yeah, this is something that I would try to do on top of my work in Endeavor in Voyager.
So Dual Labs' motto is the customer does not need to know about the blockchain, because since it's tickets, you just buy it, right? For our boy group or for our girl group, right? So for our band. So we don't call users, we call customers. For example, like our main customers are 20, 30, 40 women buying tickets for their band or boy group. So yeah, they don't know how to set up a wallet, or they don't need to set up a wallet. That's why we built our tech to be able to redeem the NFT once they have the wallet. So Yeah.
Roadmap for CKLAN, short term would be build out the protocol, adopt some of the features enabled by Starknet. For example, some of the wallets options for multi-call account abstractions and being able to set programmable payments, let's say. I think these are something that we can definitely try to tackle. Midterm, we want to be able to basically be the fundamental pieces in Starknet ecosystem for other projects to build on, other DeFi narratives to leverage on us. And then I think for the long term, we want to become a project on Starknet, but being able to access by other roll-up as well. And then also being able to tackle some of the institutional pain points I mentioned earlier, and being able to amalgamate both what we have in DeFi and also going forward in terms of institutional DeFi, let's say.
Cool. I think this is the last question. Which project on Starknet, except your own project, what are you most excited on project? I mean, on project on Starknet.
I think I'll go first because I don't front run everyone so that people don't repeat. So I don't repeat people's answer. I know this may sound a bit weird, but the moment I heard about Shoshin, I was like, oh man, this is the game I really want to play. And trust me, I'm not a gamer, but after GG's presentation in Taipei, I was like, this is definitely a cool game I want to play. So it's by Topology. Giwook share that a lot. And Kunho also share that a lot. But Shoshin is definitely something that I really want to try. I have registered for the what do you call it? I've registered for the beta release, and I'm waiting for my response. So this is my request formally on video for Kunho to get me accepted ASAP because I want to play that game. All right, that'll be the answer.
Actually, for me too, it's Topology because you know what? I played Shoshin.
What?
Yes, I was one of kind of like GG's prototype player. So I tried, Giwook and I tried it in the hacker house together, and it was really fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to see the alpha and beta version of Shoshin in near future. Yeah.
Oh, what about you, Kunho? You got 2 votes.
Yeah.
One thing is that if you want to get into the playtest, is that you find Guilty Gyoza and stay with him at the same hacker house, then he'll be happy to show you, and then you can play with the game a little bit and then see how it works. For that, he will ask a lot of questions. So you'll be an hostage for feedback for about an hour.
Yes. Small price to pay. Yes. Yeah, small price to pay.
I think one of the most, I think Giza is very interesting. And a friend, I've seen Giza's team from the very early days and excited to see what they were working on, especially on ZKML space. And know that that's a quite interesting space and a lot of uncertainties to be certain about. So I think that kind of area is something that excites me because we don't really know what exactly is the right answer, and I think that pioneering spirit is something that we admire a lot. Yeah.
It's a difficult. I'll say Topology just so that I have it on record. So I get on the wait list. I'm quite torn on this one actually. I would think actually Madara it's a really cool project. Reason being it's not really user focused, but it enables a lot of possibilities and being able to create your own Starknet instance, and it just opens up a lot of doors for builders, for developers. So I think I'm really excited to see how they develop out, and then it's also a community effort. So yeah, I just feel really proud being part of the community and saying that, yeah, this is actually just a community effort building together, and then it's taking off, and it's taking off big time.
Yeah, okay, I think that's it. Okay, so to be really honest, I gotta say Shoshin, but like you two already told about Shoshin, so like
Something else aside from Shoshi, probably.
yeah, I gotta say Madara.
And Madara.
And Madara.
Madara. And Giza.
Okay,
You
not
can't repeat
Madara,
our
not
answer.
Giza, not Shoshin. Okay, let me see.
This is why I want to go first.
Yeah.
There you go. I was prepared for this point. At this point.
Can I say Madara? Because I have reason.
fine.
I have good reason. I saw the tweet that Madara just made a million blocks. So like I think it's quite a remarkable thing on Starknet. So I said Madara or Shoshin.
For context, for those who do not know what Madara is, it's a sequencer that it will spin out your own Starknet instance. I think we need to like let everyone know at least. Everyone says I like
Good point,
Madara,
good
but what is Madara? It's like an anime character. It is, but it's also a sequencer.
Good point. Yeah, thank you. I think that's it. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
For
Thank you.
joining us. Yep.
Thank you.